Gus, Kentucky Democrat, Congressman John Yarmuth is with us. Congressman, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Kate.
Let's start on Obamacare and the repeal effort that really seems to be picking up steam where you work, up on Capitol Hill. Speaker Ryan told a local TV station that he doesn't want to pull the rug out from under Americans. He said, quote, "Our entire premise has always been we want to give people access to affordable coverage, regardless of whether you have a pre-existing condition or not." That's the speaker. And then you have Congresswoman Cathy McMorris-Rodgers, a Republican, saying no one who has coverage because of Obamacare today will lose that coverage. So my question is, why not work with the Republicans and try to improve what many Democrats concede is a plan that has problems?
Oh, I think we've been willing to do that for the last 7 years, Kate. When we passed the Affordable Care Act, we admitted there would be unforeseen consequences that we knew we'd have to fix. When you're trying to reshape 20% of the economy and one of the most complex medical systems in the world, you know there are going to be problems. Unfortunately, the Republicans over the last 7 years have been unwilling to work with us to actually improve the Affordable Care Act. All they've talked about is repeal and replace. We've constantly begged them, help us work to make it better. They didn't want to make it better. They wanted to die on its own so then they could say, okay, we were right.
Well, how do you know they don't want to make it better now?
I wish they would, and unfortunately, we still haven't seen any ideas from them that more than a few Republicans actually are behind. So we're more than ready. And, you know, when I heard Cathy McMorris-Rodgers say that the other day about making sure nobody who had coverage under Obamacare would lose it, and then even to hear President-elect Trump talk about having insurance for everybody, boy, that just made me very, very excited, because maybe there's an opportunity to actually come up with a better system. I wish we could.
We've got new numbers out today from our NBC News Wall Street Journal poll showing 45% of Americans now think that the Obamacare law, the health care law, is a good idea. That is the highest recorded popularity level for the Affordable Care Act. Why do you think it took so long for Americans to feel that way?
Well, I think part of it's human nature, that you don't know exactly what you have until it's threatened to be taken away from you. I think there's been a lot more discussion over the last few weeks about what the real alternatives to Obamacare are, and then also about how many people are benefiting from the Affordable Care Act. We did an event here on Sunday, kind of a hearing type event. We had close to 500 people who came to talk about and hear about how important the Affordable Care Act is for so many of our citizens. So I think it's the experience over the last 7 years. Virtually everybody knows somebody who has benefited from it, whether somebody had a cancer diagnosis and their life was saved because they now had coverage, or somebody with a pre-existing condition was able to stay on their parents' policy till they were 26, or somebody had a terrible accident, and because there are no lifetime limits or annual limits, they didn't have a huge out-of-pocket cost of the injury. So as experience after experience mount, I think the American people realize that this is a really positive thing that can be made better, but it's doing a lot of good right now.
You announced last night, Congressman, that you will not be attending Inauguration on Friday. We just had a spokesperson here for the transition saying that that's your right. You don't have to come. But I want to play some sound that's a little strongly worded, more strongly worded, from your fellow Congressman, Chris Collins, a Republican. This is what he said.
My opinion is what John Lewis is doing, he's pouting. He lost. It's like a spoiled child, and we've seen it with the others. They can't get over the fact they lost, and what do spoiled little kids do? You know, they run around and throw a tantrum. That's what we're seeing. They are pouting, and frankly, it's somewhat enjoyable to watch because it shows you, again, how upset they are, and when they were so smug when they left Congress knowing that Hillary Clinton was going to win.
Your response to that you're pouting?
Well, I'm not avoiding the inauguration because I think the election wasn't legitimate. I think he was elected legitimately. Trump was. I don't agree with John Lewis on that. I decided not to come because we have a president-elect who's going to be president in 3 days, who has consistently, not just until the election, but since the election, shown disrespect for the office of the presidency. And if he expects the American people to respect him in that office, he has to show that he respects it. And when you get up in the middle of the night and tweet about Arnold Schwarzenegger's ratings on The Celebrity Apprentice, or about Saturday Night Live, or about Meryl Streep, or even more offensively about John Lewis's courage, then you've shown you don't have any respect for the office. You're denigrating the office that you're about ready to assume. So that's my way of making that statement that he needs to change his behavior is why I'm not coming, not because I don't believe he was duly elected.
Congressman John Yarmuth of Kentucky, nice to have you with us, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Up next, Divided America. New document